This is us just going up to what used to be the old Kilmarnock Castle. It's now called the Dean Castle. A dean is a name for a wooded glen. And the top of the castle, which you can see if she just puts the camera, is the original keep, which is the oldest part. And I've just got a drip of water in my eye, so I think we'll go under cover here. I'll just sneak in round the side here. I used to work here when I was 17. I used to work in the Great Hall. We were making all the family tapestries for each of the families that ever lived here. I mean, they're still there in the hall. We're just going through this. You can see in there the original steps that would have taken people up. And this is an original castle, and the old keep doesn't have any windows. It only has tiny, tiny spaces. These windows were put in later. This is the original keep that was built about, I think it was just about 1417, no long after the Battle of Bannockburn. This land was actually granted to the Boyd family because of their help with the Battle of Bannockburn. They're obviously extremely strong supporters of Bruce, which not all the families around here were. And if Richard just points the camera down underneath what I think must be doing work here just now, that wee door wouldn't have been here. The original door was this door here, and what they used to do if anybody arrived was they'd bring a big ladder down. And as I say, these two windows weren't here, they were just arrow slits. Now at the very, very top of the battlements is where all the archers lived. The Boyd is a sizeable army of archers. And we're also starting to believe that perhaps there's more about archery in this area, and maybe in southwest Scotland than there ever actually was for a lot of sword use. They did use swords, but generally they were all fantastically good archers. Now the other thing to note here is there's 3 floors to this castle. The basement part would have been the kitchen area. It had little vents for the smoke to come out. And the next floor is the Great Hall. Now the Great Hall's really interesting. It's an enormous arched, big arched ceiling, and inside it was where the Boyds would have banqueted. Now not a lot has changed. People in Ayrshire like to party, and I think a lot of people in Scotland do. They were very renowned for their parties in there, and they actually had their own built-in Maestrals gallery. Now there was one, and the Maestrals had their own little room for them to change into their really colourful costumes. They also had a room which was basically for them to sleep in. There was 2 reasons for that. It might have seemed very hospitable to give them their own room, but there was one reason was that the Maestrals were the people that carried the stories around, because they travelled from different castles. In this area there's at least 5 or 6 castles within a very short walking distance, so they would have been going around entertaining in different groups, different banquetings that were going on, and no one wanted anything mean said about them because they wanted to have as many allies as they possibly could, but also because obviously no one wants to go down in history as the bad guy. And the other reason they did it was because the Maestrals were also regarded as kind of likely to bring disease, which is kind of true if you think about it. If they were shelled up in this most of the time, they hardly had any contact with the outside world. They wouldn't be necessarily have immunity to disease. But just behind the Maestrals gallery in here, there's actually the most horrible thing you could ever imagine. It's a thing called an oubliette, which basically in French just means to forget. And what they did was they threw them down into a bottleneck dungeon, anybody who was their enemies, and on top of the bodies of other people who'd been in there, and they never got out. And it was 20 feet down, and it has a big, a sharp point that goes down like that. And there used to be ladders, so when we were kids, we used to go down into this thing, and you shut the lid, and we'd all shout, "Help, let us out, we're going to..." And so it was a bit creepy. And the very top floor was the place where all the Boyd's family lived. And not the very top battlement, because as I say, that's where the archers live. It's the window you can just see there. It's put in for the Boyd family to live in. And very interestingly, the only keep that's ever been built in that history that actually has a toilet. So I wouldn't imagine it would be very nice with people walking below, because basically it's just a big chute. But it was also probably more hygienic than most of the castles, so it was quite good. We'll walk up a wee bit further up here, through where the stairs are. These stairs were put in much later, when times became slightly nicer, I would imagine. And this part here was built much later again, the palace. It's an amazing place. This is where I actually used to work, in part of this palace. And we used to use the kitchen, and we would sneak around at lunchtime. We were just young, we're teenagers. Let's go and explore and climb all the spiral staircase leading up to that top tower. You can go along these are the kind of battlements that put in later. And there's lots of kind of like secret passages, and there's bits of the bits of the panel which you wouldn't know would go into a room and things like that in it. And the other thing which is really interesting here is that one of the Boyd's descendants did fight with Bonnie Prince Charlie in the Battle of Culloden. And because obviously, well, you know what happened after Culloden ended, fought on the side of the Jacobites, was hunted down, and when he was taken away down to England and down to London and tried, and he was beheaded. And his head was brought back, and they believe it's in a casket. There's a casket just off the Great, there's a little room off the Great Hall. It's got a lead-lined casket, and the rumour is that the head's still in there, which I personally don't necessarily believe, because why would they leave it shut? They had it sealed up. And there's also rumours of the ghostly head. I know people have actually seen the head floating around. And the top of the keep here, the area you can see that, which we used to be able to go up onto, you can just see the little bits that stick out. That's for them to pour their boiling oil down. How nice is that?
Oh, right.
So that's what they did. And this was added later on at the time of the palace, just to give a wee bit extra protection. And obviously during the siege, they've got their own well over there. This area here will be filled with animals, and basically lots of traders and people making things. And they've got a very, very substantial kitchen in there with an enormous big hearth, which would be a kitchen to feed hundreds of people. So they were clearly well ready for any sieges which did happen. Okay.